Now sit down and listen to me, children. Grandma has been on this planet for 80 years. I've lived through the Great Depression. I've seen wars that tore the world apart, and I've seen leaders of all kinds. But I never, not in my wildest dreams, thought I'd see the day a former president of these United States was treated like a common criminal. I've got the receipts right here, and they are heavy. Donald Trump was convicted on May 30th, 2024, on every single one of those 34 felony counts. 34! My goodness, I've seen bank robbers with shorter rap sheets than that. He walked into that Manhattan courthouse on the 15th floor, and for the first time in his life, he wasn't the boss. He was a defendant. He was fingerprinted, just like anyone else. He was in the custody of the DA. Trump's team tried to act like he's too famous for a mugshot, but the law doesn't care about your celebrity status. Before I tell you about the secret details from inside the courtroom and Alvin Bragg's power move, hit that subscribe button. You need an old soul to remind you that in this country, the law is the only king. Subscribe to the Truth or Lies right now. Let's look at the charges. I'm not joking. We are talking about 34 counts of falsifying business records. In plain English, that means he's accused of lying on his paperwork to cover up something he didn't want the world to see: payments to buy the silence of an adult film star before the 2016 election. Now, I've taught my grandkids that a lie is a lie, whether it's about a broken cookie jar or a multi-million-dollar business record. But in a courtroom, those lies turn into felonies. Trump sat there expressionless, looking at those cameras, but he didn't say a word. On January 10, 2025, Judge Mershon gave him an unconditional discharge. He's living in a fantasy land if he thinks he can just truth social his way out of a criminal conviction. My old eyes have seen many men try to lie to a judge. It never ends well. He surrendered voluntarily, they say, but don't let that fool you. He was in custody. He was escorted by U.S. Marshals and Secret Service agents. He walks through those doorways on the 15th floor, and for that moment, he was just another name on a docket. They didn't handcuff him, a little concession because of his guards. But the process was the same. The fingerprints are on file. The rap sheet is official. He's the first former president to ever be a convicted felon, and let me tell you, it's a dark day for the office he once held. I've seen 15 presidents, and none of them ever had to wait for a judge to tell them when they could go home to Mar-a-Lago. District Attorney Alvin Bragg didn't just send his assistants, he went in there himself. He sat in the front row overseeing the whole thing. That tells you how serious this is. Trump's Trump Force One plane was waiting at LaGuardia Airport, ready to whisk him back to Florida, but he had to sit there and listen to every single charge read out loud 34 times. The White House might be gold-plated in his mind, but that courtroom was made of cold, hard reality. Bragg set out the indictment in full, and the receipts were laid out for the whole world to see. There's no hiding now. His lawyers argued he didn't need a mugshot because he's one of the most famous faces on earth. Well, isn't that special? Since when does being famous mean you get a different set of rules? I've seen famous people fall further than anyone else because they thought they were special. While he skipped the photo in New York, he couldn't dodge the camera in Georgia later that year. I've seen that mugshot, and he looks like he's about to headbutt the camera. He stayed quiet in Manhattan, maybe for once realizing that his words could actually be used against him. This incompetent attempt to stay above the law finally hit the wall of justice. So what happens next? He's back in the White House now, but those 34 felonies aren't going anywhere. He'll keep screaming about witch hunts and hoaxes, but the paperwork doesn't lie. 34 felonies, a criminal courthouse conviction, a formal arrest. Mark my words, children, this was the day the music stopped for the Manhattan mogul. You can own the tallest building and the fastest plane, but you can't own the American justice system. The receipts are clear, the case is closed, and the indictment hoax is now a permanent part of history. I'm going to keep my eyes glued to the news, and I'm going to keep telling you the truth from an 80-year-old's perspective. Share this video with someone who thinks they're above the law. Subscribe to The Truth or Lies, and stay wise. Grandma is going to have a cup of tea now, but I'll be back the moment something else breaks. Stay tuned.